Right, as per last week, I'm not going to swear within my intro. However, that did get an awful lot of likes for swearing in the first minute and telling UEFA what I thought of them exactly. But no, we're not doing that today. Maybe not. So, welcome to the Manchester's Blue Show. Another Monday, lads, and we're gearing up to a fantastic week. I've got some good feelings about this week. We finished off the weekend, and as City Dave rightly pointed out, a fantastic weekend of sport. We got the rugby, we got the boxing, and we got the Blues bringing home 3 points. How good was that? So we talk about City today mainly. Obviously, go back into more detail from the Leicester game. Give a good review of that. We talk about our shambolic penalty record. We go into a bit of information about the Madrid preview, which I think we need to go into quite detailed actually. And obviously we've got a couple of lineups and things like that. And I've got a couple of facts to whittle off later on this after the program finishes. So before the program finishes. But one new thing, we're going to name the show today. We're going to name the show. Are you ready for this? We're not going to do it now. We need to think of a name for the show at the end of it. So all the way through this, we need to, between ourselves, we need to start thinking of potential names of what we can call the show. Right? So bear that in mind as we're going on. Not FC UK VAR, as I wanted to call it last week. But, you know, I think that potentially worked. But are we ready to crack on?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And we've just heard the news that Dan's wife is expecting. So if you need to shoot off, mate, you crack on. But you've got at least 50 minutes with us, mate. So get her to cross the legs for a bit.
Hopefully it's not for another 2 weeks yet, and it's just a false alarm. But yeah, just if I do shoot off, that's why. But yeah, fingers crossed it's not for another 2 weeks.
Well, what we'll do then, we'll make sure we do your segment at the start of every question, so you can get your bit in first. We can edit everything else in afterwards.
Chipping in with videos from the hospital, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. We need the baby to come out with a blue shirt on, pal. That's what we need to record it. Right, I'm digressing massively. Let's crack on. How good did we look against Leicester? What do you think, lads?
Dan, you're up first. Remember?
Well, it was a weird one for me. Yes, we were very, very good in segments. We were fantastic in segments. So some of the football and the play we were doing, the build-up play, the final third passing was phenomenal. It's like City of old, nearly recent old, should I say? But at the same time, it was like the West Ham game. We had the same patches of brilliance, but we are so prone at the moment, despite how we play, to giving the ball away so much. There were so many times we lost possession of that ball from cheap passing play and not focusing, and we just weren't with it in parts. But luckily, most of all, we were, and we got the 3 points in the end. Aguero, I'm hoping, is getting all his bad game out the way for Wednesday when he turns up against Madrid and gets a hat-trick. But yeah, it's a weird one for him. The overall game was good. Ederson, proving why he's probably one of the best goalkeepers we've had in a very long time. Just enough to put Vardy off. Otherwise, I think it would have been a completely different game if Leicester had took the lead. Very fortunate not to.
Yeah.
And one standout performance compared to how stuttering he was against West Ham was Jesus when he came on. He looked up for it more than any other player, despite only being on the pitch for the last half hour, 3/4 of an hour, whatever it was. He looked properly up for it, and in the end, he got the vital goal. And full credit to him because he's had a bit of stick recently.
He needed that, didn't he?
Yeah, but it also gives Guardiola a bit of a problem because does he go for Aguero, who's had quite a poor game against Leicester, but is always up for the Champions League games, or does he go for Jesus, who's like, do you know what, I'm taking this to the other teams?
I know where you're coming from, but for me, there's no question the Argentines starting up front for me on Wednesday night. There's no question whatsoever. I like Jesus, but for me, pound for pound, if Sergio was getting on 40, I'd still start him over Jesus at the moment. I just think he's too dangerous.
Yeah.
I think he's got something to prove against Madrid as well, and against the big boys. I think he can do well for us.
Yeah, he needs to get his head down again. I think he's having a bit this season. Primarily, he's having some of his best games, but he's having some of his worst games, Sergio. But Jesus, maybe he's just trying to signal that intent that the reports from Italy that Juventus are apparently tabling a £60 million bid in the summer. Maybe he's stepping his game up for that, but I don't see him going. Even though if Guardiola's saying he's staying, he's not going to want to leave Jesus. He's one of his Fodens, if you like, bringing him up into the big world of top professional football. There
is definitely that little airing of prodigy in the making with Jesus and Pep. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and we were having the conversation about Jesus. And the problem I've got is, if Sergio was going to stay for another 2 years, or how is it? End of next year his contract ends.
End of next season. Yeah,
end of next season. If Sergio stays another season, Jesus will still be number 2.
Yeah,
because I'll rephrase this in a different way. If Juventus came and offered 70 million quid for Jesus, right, and we had a ready-made player to take over, I don't think I'd be that disappointed. I don't see him kicking on the way I wanted him to kick on at the start of this season.
To put it into context, though, Jesus needs another year and a half before he reaches the age Sergio did when he first started for City.
That's well put.
He's had the build-up in the City team. Maybe, before he moved to City, who had really heard of Aguero? He's making names for Madrid, and he was obviously this young Argentine that came up through the Independent, however you pronounce it, through Argentine leagues. Nobody really knew him, did they? Jesus has got a bit of hype around him, but he's obviously bagging in some goals. And for me, I said at the beginning of the season he was going to crack on and this was going to be his best season. And in some aspects, it is so far his best season at City. And maybe he just needs one more season with Aguero side by side and then taking over the reins.
No, I really do. I really want him to do well. I'm just a little bit. Maybe I just put him on too high a pedestal this season for where I wanted him to be, because I wanted him to be at the latter end of this season one of our top goal scorers and verging on taking over Sergio, and he's not done that. And maybe that's just me being really harsh on him by saying that. If he was someone to come in and buy him, would I be that disappointed? Probably not. But the thing is, he can score goals. He knows where the goal is. But I've watched him quite a few times this season. His decision making is sometimes really shockingly bad with regards to taking that extra touch too much. Kick the bloody ball into the back of the net. I don't care if you hit the post or the keeper. At least have that opportunity first time, which he's not doing for me.
West Ham, prime example of that. Because I always watch the highlights before we do these podcasts of the previous games and what have you. And the first one that kept popping up in my head before it even came up is the one when he was 1-on-1 with the West Ham keeper, and he was niggling to think about, do I take a shot, do I knock it on? He tried to knock it on, and in the end the chance had gone. If that was Aguero in his position, he would have lathered that first time and it'd be a goal. And I think his decision making, he just needs to mature it a little bit, but he's getting there.
What do you reckon, Dave? Have we got a future City number 9 and a backup to him in Jesus? Or is he going to be forever the bridesmaid? That could be a good name for the podcast. Sorry, go on.
Bridesmaid. So, if you look at Jesus' scoring record for City, it's still absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it basically is 1 in 2. And 60 million from Juventus is, double it. Maybe we'll have a conversation with you, but you can't replace a player like that who's scoring 1 in 2. I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think where Jesus struggles is as a lone striker, whereas Aguero revels in that of going and retrieving the ball and being that person in the box. I don't think Jesus is that kind of striker. I would like to see Jesus play with another striker. They've done it 3 or 4 times where it's been Aguero and Jesus, and they've played quite successfully together when they've done that. I think Jesus plays better when he's got someone to feed off. And this comes back to the point again, if it's Guardiola or some other coach comes in, is he going to change the formation up a little bit and maybe play more of a 4-4-2? And I think in a 4-4-2, you'd see a Jesus score an absolute hatful of goals. So I don't want to sell him.
When was the last time Jesus started on his own up front? Do we know that? Can anyone remember that? Because all the last games I can see him starting was with Aguero. But my short-term memory is not the best.
It must have been a cup game where we
I think
trying out with rotation.
Yeah. think it was the Oxford game, wasn't it? Oh no,
Probably.
he started Sterling up front, didn't he? Jesus didn't even start that game.
Who were the Championship team that we played at the Etihad recently? Fulham.
Fulham.
Was it Fulham? That's a complete guess.
Yeah, yeah, because we had a load of top players on the bench, didn't we? I think Aguero was on the bench and Jesus. Yeah, I think it must have been Fulham then, the last one. So he's well, maybe Dave's got the point to that. Maybe starting him up front isn't his forte. Well, for me anyway, sticking him out on the left this season has improved him slightly. He's improving his offside game, sticking out on the left. And completely agree with Dave again. He's not an out-and-out striker like Aguero is. He's not a predator in front of those posts. You know, he still has that bit of inconsistency about his mind, his decision making. But I can see him being a runner off a player, sort of like the Aguero Tevez. They took it in turns. Somebody held up the ball and then played the other one through. Those two worked fantastic doing that. And maybe Jesus does need someone like that. I
really think he does, because even if we play kind of arguably a front three where we have, someone down the middle and then, Bernardo or Raz or whoever it is, out on those wings, it's still at the end of the day, it's still Aguero up front basically, and he's the one in the box. And I think Jesus struggles with that a little bit. He likes running at players. Now, it was a good finish on Saturday as well, particularly as he'd just come on the field to put away a chance like that, because I thought Schmeichel was going to save everything that game. He had a phenomenal game yet again, and it took something a little bit special to get past him. And I just think that's the thing with Jesus, that young player as well. I think he just works better in a 4-4-2, or basically with support with him. To Dan's point of, can we have a bigger striker who he's feeding off of laying those little balls through, or getting his head on it and playing him into space? Because we never ever play like that because we don't have the height.
Yeah,
it's his synergy.
Yeah. The little and large analogy would be work really well for him.
If I could just put something forward, I think a lot of problems when we talk about replacing players like Vincent Kompany, like David Silva, like Aguero, who have been so talismanic in their performances for the club. There's no way you're just going to go out and swap them out right for right. So when we're looking at something like who's Aguero's natural replacement going to be, I think maybe what we might be doing is look at teams like Liverpool, like Borussia Dortmund, like Ajax, who actually don't find the majority of the goals through a central striker, but actually use the central striker position as more of a playmaker to actually feed the goals to the wings. So having someone like Jesus who plays so well outside, as Dave mentioned, pretty much a goal every 2 games, just keep the options out wide as varied as possible, and just have a central striker that's able to knit it all together, and have, again, just that fluidity of positions up front. Maybe that might be the answer. We just find we don't have a talismanic goal scorer up front. We just spread the goals throughout the team like a Liverpool does.
Do you know what? I'd love to see a Bernardo or a Kevin De Bruyne in that position.
Yeah.
And then watch the Raheems and the Mahrezes get fed off them. We'd score an absolute hatful, won't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was the thing again on Saturday, that I still always get concerned when De Bruyne is playing too far back. His best position is absolutely attacking the other defence and playing those balls through and whatever else, and taking shots or whatever. It kind of makes my stomach turn when I look at the game and they pan out and you see De Bruyne right back on our 25-yard line. And I get it, he wants to be everywhere and he wants to tackle and whatever, that's brilliant. But he's most effective when he's up front and he's feeding those balls to Aguero, to Jesus, to Raz, to Bernardo, whoever it is. That I hope we take something from this when we go to, if there's any team that we need De Bruyne to be playing right up front and really dominating the other team's defence, it's on Wednesday night. What are we going to do if we have De Bruyne sat back on the 25-yard line? It's not going to help us at all.
We're gonna. I can see us having. I can see us playing 4 at the back. I can see us having Rodri and Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne just ahead of Rodri, but having that flexibility to track back and tackle as well. So I can already see your steam coming off your forehead on Wednesday night as we see Kevin De Bruyne in our penalty area more often than he should be.
Yeah, and that's fine. But if they're going to play like that, De Bruyne needs to be the player who they're allowed to get forward. And that's all down to communication. All right, I'm going to go forward, Rodri. That means that you have to bloody stay right here.
Yeah.
And as long as they work on that, then I'll be fine with it. I'm just sick of seeing him too far back when he's not at his most effective.
Absolutely. The possession stats were really good. 68% possession we had against Leicester, 18 shots to 10, and on target 7 to 3. So the stats rang. The stats rang as if they were, it was a game from last season, and we were coasting and doing really well and winning every game. And so I was really happy with the performance. It reminded me, if you would have turned it off and told me it was last season's game or the way we were playing last season, it just reminded me of that, and I felt that confident. I wasn't worried about Leicester. I'm quite pessimistic when I watch football. I always get a little bit nervous here and there, but I just wasn't worried about them. Iheanacho, I can see why we sold him. I saw nothing in him at all that threatened a goal against us. I don't know how you guys felt about Iheanacho's game.
Well, Edison didn't see Iheanacho either. He just punched right through him,
didn't he? Yeah,
knocked the guy out. No, I would agree. I thought it was a very, very good performance all round. I mean, apart from Vardy's chance, I can't actually remember Leicester really having another decent opportunity to score, to be perfectly honest. We somewhat controlled the game, and I really put that down to Laporte. We are an absolute different team when he plays. We're just more comfortable that we don't panic when the other team get a break on or something like that. Laporte just seems to bring a sense of calm to everything. And my God, we need him for the full 90 minutes on Wednesday night. But I think we just look a different team when he's there.
Did anyone else get a bit nervous when he came off?
No, I think everyone understood that was kind of a precaution. He's been out for a while. Like Dave said, the one person that we need for 90 minutes on Wednesday is Laporte. We do look completely different, and if taking him off 50 minutes into the Leicester game's a price we have to pay, then so be it.
Yeah, and he asked, apparently, right? He asked to come off.
Yeah,
which is a good thing, because he knows how important Wednesday is. So fair play to the man.
Good on Guardiola as well. We know what he's like sometimes running players into the ground when they've come back from injury. He's been. I think everybody, including Guardiola, knows how much we've missed that man at the back. But in the end, he came off at 50 minutes, and we had another world class centre back come on in replacement. Really, it was like for like. Did
it surprise anyone else that Fernandinho started? I was expecting Mendy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought, because of what's happening with us playing Madrid, completely thought Otamendi was going to start.
Yeah, I did too.
Can anyone read? I mean, we're going to go into Madrid in a bit. Can anyone read into what formation he's going to play with him starting Fernandinho? Because I've got a feel, and we'll go into this in a little bit later, but I think he's going to play Mendy, Laporte, Fernandinho, and Walker. So is he thinking there, right, let's see how Laporte and Fernandinho play with each other with a view of starting them on Wednesday? Does anyone else think that?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's exactly what he's going to do. And I also mentioned to my son as well, Little City Dave, as I now call him, I think we're going to sell Cancelo at the end of the season. That guy's just not getting a break. He can't get a game. I think Walker has just taken it. I think Dan's mentioned Walker a few times now this season and how well he's played. I think he's got the bit between his teeth and said to Cancelo, "You are not taking my spot." If Cancelo doesn't get a game on either of these Champions League games, I think he's gone at the end of the season, particularly if we can get the 60 million for him. We've barely seen him, have we?
And when we have seen him, he definitely hasn't been good enough. Walker's becoming quickly one of those most vocal players on the pitch for us. He's becoming really influential. When we're losing and it's getting a bit frustrated, he's the one who's getting riled up, maybe lunging in for a tackle that he shouldn't be. But people like to see that. Like when we had Zabaleta at right back, exactly the same. And I'm not saying he's anywhere near the kind of influence that Zabaleta had, but when the going gets tough and you need those kind of players to, play for the shirt, bleed blue, he's definitely got the potential to grow into that player with years and years down the line with playing at the club.
Do you know what? The influence only comes with time and experience. There's absolutely no reason why Walker couldn't cement that position for the foreseeable future. He's as long as he keeps his pace, he could be there indefinitely until.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's. I was going to say we need him. We need him on Wednesday. We need his pace on Wednesday. I think we spoke about many times where Walker's got us out of the mire a few times with his pace. So Real Madrid aren't the slowest team. I believe Hazard's not playing now, which is a massive boost for us.
Injured, yeah.
Yeah, fractured his ankle again. Can't catch a break, that lad, unfortunately.
No, but this is, as I've said in our little group chats for the last 2 weeks over and over again, I think Real Madrid are now at 15 goals they've let in La Liga all season.
Right.
So if that doesn't prove the point that we need De Bruyne, and if I would play David Silva on Wednesday as well, just simply because I think we need that kind of influence there. I know, Dan, but he's won everything in the game, and you need that kind of head at the Berna-Bound in front of 100,000. You need that kind of influence. We need to somehow break this Real Madrid team down, who have only let in 15 goals all season. That's going to be how we win this over 2 legs.
Well, I know I keep mentioning Real Madrid, so it's my own fault. But we'll come on to them in a minute, and I want to come on to their defensive record. But City have failed to score the last 4 top-flight penalty kicks now, and Arsenal's got the record of doing this 5. And for me, it's we've had Aguero, we've had Gundogan, we've had Jesus, we've had Sterling. It's got to be Ederson.
I would do.
It's got to be Ederson. Why not? What have we got to lose? Have we got to lose, the club?
Well, unless
if he misses, he needs to be quick on his toes. That's where we need Walker for tracking back. But on a serious note, what do we do? What should we do for our penalties?
Did anyone say Kevin De Bruyne? Have we tried him? I mean, if not, why not? Because he's the player with the big personality, the big game player, take the game by the scruff of the neck. If anyone's going to put the ball down and make sure that he, I don't know, like just is a little bit more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Just is the one to make sure that we actually score a penalty. Surely he should be the first name on the penalty taker list, surely.
It's spot on there, Adam, because he's the first one that picks up the ball when the free kick's been to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
He did come out last night as well, of being quoted that he would be up for the role as well.
What, penalty taker?
Yeah, he was quoted. I think it was Saturday night after the Leicester game. He was quoted in not the Sky Sports media, but some other media outlet, saying if he was given a chance, he'd happily take it.
It's an absolute no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, he's the best dead ball kick taker, however you pronounce it, that we've got in the club, without a doubt. Dead ball kick something. I don't know. You know what I mean, anyway. He's the best at it.
If we get a penalty at the Berna-Bound, which is a vital away goal, we need to score that. We need to put our mortgage on that, lads. Who's taking that in this current City squad for you guys?
De Bruyne. Absolutely, De Bruyne. He's never, as much as I'd like to see as a City fan, Ederson score a goal. A game of that magnitude of what could happen if it doesn't go in. It's not going to be Ederson. You know, that for me is like final game of the season, and you know there's nothing really to play for. And you know, I always go back all those years. Do you remember when we tried to get Stuart Pearce to 100 league goals?
Remember it very well.
You know, Ali Benabia.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be more of one of those kind of things. It's got to be De Bruyne for me. It has to. If he's on the pitch when we get if we get a penalty, it's got to be De Bruyne.
Can't argue with that, pal. Cannot argue with that whatsoever. What does everyone think about? I was happy. Is everyone happy to move on now? Because I think we've exhausted that. I want to talk a little bit about Real Madrid before we talk about anything else. Because it's a big game, lads. It's a big game in our not so fantastic season. I'm trying to think of a polite word without swearing. But we're still in 3 trophies. We're still in 3 competitions. The league's gone. This is huge now. Do you know what? It's funny that with all this UEFA thing, I wasn't that arsed about the Champions League. Now I want to win it. And I want to rub the noses in it. But the problem is, I keep seeing that who the VAR referee is. It's that guy from the Spurs game last year who didn't show the reverse angle of the handball, and the little things like this that kind of like, do you know what? Something's going to happen on Wednesday that we are not going to be happy with whatsoever.
That's what I've been saying for weeks.
Oh,
yep.
I think it's dangerous to put all our eggs into one basket and say, okay, we need the Champions League now to rub it in UEFA's noses. I definitely wouldn't say that I wasn't interested in it in the start of the season. I think if we are going to win it, it should be this season just because of all the controversy and the league kind of slipping away. So if we're ever going to throw 100% into it, do or die, it's got to be this season.
Now or never, isn't it?
Yep.
Agreed.
What score would you be happy with on Wednesday, apart from Dan's 10-0?
A draw.
Score draw.
I wouldn't mind a score draw either, because that mean, if we're able to break Real Madrid's defence, which I think is a tough ask, then yeah, I will take a score draw, and let's see what happens at the Etihad in is it 3 weeks' time, the return leg, or is it 2 weeks?
17
weeks.
Is Diaz eligible for this tie?
Yes, he's a Real Madrid player.
I mean, to see a former City player score against us, I absolutely cannot see that. So I'd take a score draw as long as Brahim Diaz doesn't score against us.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about him. Oh.
I mean, I don't think he's getting much playing time under Zidane.
Well, Hazard's injured.
Yeah, and I think Bale may be playing. We'll see. I'm with Tom. I think something's going to happen in actually both games, Berna-Bound and at the Etihad, that VAR's going to be involved. That's what I was saying on that post a couple of months ago, that they're really, VAR are the winners of this season, because they've impacted so many games. And this previous weekend is no argument with that. That Lo Celso foul and how he didn't get sent off and how VAR didn't. It's just absolutely beyond me. So something's going to happen again. Score draw.
Dan, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 City win.
Wow. All right.
In fact, I'd probably be very closer to say 2-0 City win.
Come on, Adam.
Because there's the whole situation about us and UEFA at the moment. We'll have how amazing our fans were against Leicester away. That'll be double the noise level, double the follow, double the support, despite having a smaller group go into the Berna-Bound. It will be like, I can't remember which one of you two said, it'll be a final for us, and we've got to treat it as a final. The players will be riled up for it. They're seeing their reputations tarnished by media outlets saying, oh, well, we're not in Europe next season. We want to be out. They want to go out and make a case. And you could argue, despite everything and how upbeat we'll be still going in as the underdogs. So I think that will play into our hands a bit as well. So, in fact, I'd change it. Yeah, 2-0 City win.
Wow, Dan.
Come on, Adam.
Well, there's been a bit of a pattern of me predicting City wins on this podcast, and it's not going too well. So,
so don't say anything then. That's fine. No, don't say anything. No, that's fine. No, we'll keep it as that. No, I'm happy with that. We'll move on quickly. We need all the luck we can get. If you have lucky pants and socks, get them worn at 12 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What do you everyone think about the Sterling interview? Obviously, he was interviewed by a Spanish magazine, which was always going to be talking about Real Madrid and his potential move. We've talked about him moving to Real Madrid on the pod. I can see him playing for Real Madrid in the future. And are we surprised at the timing of this interview?
Not surprised.
No, I'm not. I mean, it kind of suits us that he's having this dip of form and then beginning to look elsewhere. I think if he was on the form that he was at last season, why would he look elsewhere? When you see someone like Kevin De Bruyne, who's happy living in Manchester, everything like that, because he is on form, being considered one of the best players in the world. I think if Sterling was having that season, he wouldn't look elsewhere. I think it's no coincidence. And to be honest, it's not that big of a loss to us if he is doing that, because who's to say he's going to come back from this confidence spike? I mean, maybe he's had his best season with us. Who knows?
Yeah, you got to look at it both ways. So, as a City fan, he's not having the greatest of seasons. And if we got the right money for him, then he'd happily go. As an England fan, I actually like more of our players playing abroad, because I think it makes them. I really believe that it makes them better players. It's no wonder to me why we never win anything, because all of our players still play in England. They're not used to playing different kinds of football. So I would love Raz and, a few of, Harry Kane, for instance, go to Barcelona, go to Real and prove yourself, because all that's going to do is make them better national players for us, in my opinion.
Can't argue with that. Sterling's contract ends in 2023, so we've got 3 years left of him yet. There's plenty more to come from him. I think he's going to have a fantastic tournament with England this year. Part of me thinks he's saving himself a little bit for these Champions League games, and I hope I'm right in that. I think there's more form to come from him, particularly those seasons.
I hope so. And 3 years, Tom, as well, is perfect for us, because it means that if someone is going to submit a bid for him, they need to pay top dollar. This isn't a player in the final year of his contract. This is someone who's still got 3 years. So you know what? If you want him, Neymar went for 200. We want 200 million, please.
He's 25 as well.
Yeah.
So he's still got plenty of time left in his belt, hasn't he? He's got another 7 years, maybe.
Yeah.
If he's lucky. He starts doing yoga, that is.
And what happens is, if you've seen what PSG keep doing now, is that particularly where Real Madrid keep calling, because they want Mbappe, they basically say, well, we want like 4 of your best players from Real Madrid, and and some cash as well. If Real Madrid come to City wanting Raz, we should be saying exactly the same thing. We want 3 or 4 of their up and coming players, to come and sign for City, because that's what Guardiola likes. He likes these 19, 20-year-old players. They've just signed another midfielder. I think 19 he is. They reckon he's just going to be the next big thing. So.
Is this the Brazilian lad? The wing back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a bit of information on him here. The City Pip Arsenal is signing a Brazilian starlet Yan Couto. Agreed deal of £5 million for the new Dani Alves, apparently. One of the most highly regarded talents in Brazil's youth setup. Reports earlier this month stated that Arsenal had identified him as a long-term prospect to Bellerin. And Couto starred for his country at the Under-17 World Cup tournament last year. So, like you say, he's perfectly mouldable for what Guardiola needs to do.
Yeah, so that's what I would do if one of these big clubs, a PSG or Real or Barca or want Raz. Well, yeah, we want good money, and we want to take a look at 2 or 3 of your players as well, please.
Is Raheem starting for you on Wednesday?
No.
That full house?
Yeah.
Is that through injury, or is that fitness, or is that
It's confidence for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tactical.
Yeah, and particularly if Bernardo's playing somewhat the same position. Bernardo had another great game, I felt, on Saturday. He's got so much energy. I'd have Bernardo every time at the moment.
It's funny because I'd play Bernardo a bit deeper.
He does like it there, yeah.
Yeah, with his athleticism. It's funny. It's hard to try and, because I've put my potential team together. Do you want to hear it?
Yep.
Please.
I put Sterling in it. So I've gone. You know what the defence is? We've got Ederson, Mendy, Laporte, Fernandinho, Walker. I've got Rodri sat in front of the back 4 with Bernardo and De Bruyne obviously bouncing up and down the pitch. I've got Mahrez, Aguero, and Sterling. Oh, come on, rip that apart, lads.
The only change I'd make is Jesus instead of Sterling, purely because out of confidence. I'd have Bernardo in that deep lying role, just for, like you say, his athleticism to provide that kind of cover across the pitch where Rodri might tend to lack it a little bit. But we've got to go on form, surely. Jesus has been much, much better form than Sterling is. Even if his conversion rate hasn't been quite there, he's still been miles better than Sterling.
Agreed. I'd love to see Sane on the bench as well. I know he's not going to play, but I'd love to just see his name on the team sheet in some way.
Where are we at? Because the way I've read it at the moment is he's literally ready to start playing.
I've heard he's playing with the first team in practice, and he's taking part in everything. There's been no upset, with anything that he's done. So I kind of keep expecting the last probably 2 weeks when I see the team sheet that he's there, just on the subs bench, just to be kind of part of the team in some way, shape or form. But it's not. I don't know. It's not happening for him.
We've got Steve joining us any second now. There he is. Hey, buddy, how we doing, Steve?
How we doing, boys? All right?
Yeah, we're just talking mid-flow about the Madrid game on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, better now. Found out Hazard's injured.
See, I didn't want to say that.
I think I said it last week as well, so
Yeah.
I'll keep with it. But yeah, I think if we can get an away goal, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Even if it's 2-1 to them or something like that. But I can't see it. I don't think we'll lose there. But that's just me.
I don't think we'll lose. That's confidence for you. Have you got a score? You got a score in mind?
I might say 1-1. To be fair.
Score draw. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've banned Adam from predicting today.
Yeah.
From his previous results, and I'm not touching that one. So no, I'd be more than happy with that. I'm just reading out the potential team I'd play. I'd love your thoughts on it. I've got Edison, Mendy, Laporte, Fernandinho, and Walker. I've got Rodri sitting in front of the back four with Bernardo and De Bruyne, obviously bouncing up and down the pitch, and Sterling, Aguero, and Mahrez. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I put David Silva in it.
Oh, the City Dave had that one as well.
I feel that he is because he didn't come on against Leicester. So I feel that he's the calming influence that we need, just in case things do go a bit wobbly. But me personally, I would like to see Fernandinho back in the holding midfield role as well. I think, but it won't happen. But the back four, I agree with. I think that's the strongest one we can go with at the moment. I think Otamendi's a bit of a liability. But I would just like, if one of the other centre-halves was on form, just have Fernandinho back in that holding role. It secures us up so much. But yeah, again, that's just me.
It's funny, none of us have mentioned, obviously we're reading from my team sheet here, none of us have mentioned Gundogan here, who's a bit of a Pep's love child when it comes to this. Do you see him anywhere near that starting lineup?
Not for me. He was poor again on Saturday, in my opinion.
Which probably means he's going to start on Wednesday. Right, so we just do... Yeah, sorry Dave, I interrupted you then. What are you going to say?
Guardiola just sees something in Gundogan that the vast majority of City fans don't. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think it's just, my argument is we've got better in the kind of role that Guardiola needs Gundogan to play. I think we've got better options than Gundogan. He's just an okay midfielder to me.
To go with that, Dave, it's exactly what we were saying a few months back, where he's just a midfielder. But the way that we've all said we want Bernardo Silva to play in that central midfielder role is Gundogan's position. But the only reason Gundogan loses out to Bernardo Silva because of that is because of Bernardo Silva's energy and pace. If you had Gundogan with the technical ability that he's got, with Bernardo Silva's speed and dribbling ability, and just overall tracking back and doing all the dirty work, which he's not known for, but he's good at, Gundogan would get there. But if you had Bernardo Silva in his position, Bernardo Silva would win every time.
Agreed.
I mean, the question was, can we see Gundogan playing in there? Would I put him in there? No. Can I see Pep putting him in there? Absolutely. How many times has he made those frustrating decisions where you feel like everyone sat on the sofa can pick the team, put it in front of him, play this team, and he'll throw in someone like a Gundogan just because he has those kind of players that he feels so strongly about, or he loves the way that they play. And for me, I wouldn't want Gundogan in there because, again, I wasn't impressed with his performance on Leicester. Can I see Pep putting him in there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with that at all. It's funny, isn't it? We could all put something down on paper, all be completely different, and we'd all get it wrong. It's absolutely bonkers. I'm expecting to look at team sheet on Wednesday and go, what formation is Pep playing here? Yeah. And do you know what? That'll be the rule of thumb. Everyone on Twitter will blow their heads off, going, "What formation are we playing here?" Absolutely no idea. Where's that cow come from in the top right corner? It's going to do something absolutely random. It's never going to be easy for us. But I tell you what, I bet it works. It just knows how to see things that me and others just don't understand. But for once, it'd be great just to see a really good lineup that we are going to.
I think the other thing that we've got in our favour, which I didn't realise until this weekend, is that it's the Clasico the weekend.
Is it?
It is indeed. So Real Madrid fans do not accept anything less than a victory at the Berna-Bound against Barcelona. So I think Zinedine Zidane's going to be very mindful of that and making sure that he has a very, very strong team to put out for the Barcelona game as well. And that might be to our benefit. I know we have the League Cup final. I get that. But that is a huge game that, at the top of the table. I think they're 1 and 2 right now, Barcelona and Real Madrid. And I think Zidane might just save a couple of his players for the weekend's game because he wants to win La Liga. So that could really be to our benefit on Wednesday night, I think.
Oh, do you know how close it is at the top as well? Barcelona on 55 points and Madrid on 53.
Mm-hmm.
Crikey. It's a really good shout, that part. When's the game? On Sunday?
I think it's on Saturday. I think so.
I'd still argue Aston Villa in the League Cup's bigger game, but that's just me, I think.
There you go. Yeah, I just feel that Guardiola's got enough in his squad that he'll be able to change it up for the weekend against Villa. I think Zidane, he's got some great players there, but a lot of them are very young, who he's brought over from Brazil over the last 12 months or so, that I don't think he's got as many options as us. And I just feel that really might play into his thinking on Wednesday, that he might be saving a couple of these players for the weekend's game rather than against us.
So who would we think then are the players we need to be watching out for?
Modric, probably. Yeah. Depends if he plays Bale. He likes the Champions League as old Bale.
He's got to play Bale, hasn't he? Bale's missed the Champions League when it comes to Madrid.
Yeah, I think he'll play. Benzema, he gets a bad rap, Benzema, but my God, he scored a hatful of goals for Real Madrid. And for France, he's a great player.
I think you mentioned the defensive record already, so their defensives, all of their back line are so formidable. I think that's where the game's going to be won and lost, whether we can really get in behind, penetrate it, have De Bruyne, as Dave says, playing further forward, getting those balls in behind, and that's where the game will be won and lost.
Is Kroos fit?
I think he
is.
I think he is. It depends who they... Yeah, because they got that Ferland Mendy now, haven't they? He's back now.
Is he any relation, by the way?
I don't think so.
No.
Both French. That narrows it down to a few 100 million, but
we'll leave it at that.
Does he play Isco much? No.
They've got loads of options, haven't they?
Yeah, because that's Pep's love child, isn't it? Isco. He loves him.
Isco,
just never signed him.
Every year for the last 5 years. Every season.
And obviously old Diaz as well, isn't it? Well, Diaz from us.
Yeah.
Is he going to be about?
Yeah, I would say, looking at this, I think, that it's going to be won by penetrating that very, very good defence that they have. And... yeah, Casemiro, I think, is a great player. Yep. That's their Fernandinho, basically. And can Rodri put Casemiro in his back pocket during the game? Because that would be crucial.
See, that's where I think we need Fernandinho, though. So I think he would put Casemiro in his pocket.
Agree with you, Steve. Yeah.
I just can't see if we've got Laporte back, we just can't play someone else as centre half and just give Fernandinho where he is so solid, and where we would need him the most now, I think, is in front. Rodri's good, but it's still his first season, and I just think he'd be so good there. But who would you put in centre half? Would you trust Otamendi? Probably not.
It'll be interesting to see if I
trust Garcia.
Well. I trust Garcia.
I think that would be the greatest boost that you could give to Garcia, that he is our player and we want him there for the next decade, by playing him at the Berna-Bound. Or if that's not going to happen, certainly at the Etihad in 3 weeks' time. You've got to give these young players confidence like that, particularly when they're in and out of the team.
Well, this is Garcia's prime opportunity now. Play him every Premier League game. Play him every Premier League game before after the end of the season. So what? Lose a couple of games, ships a couple of goals, valuable experience. How many games left? 12 games left, is it, in the season? 12 games.
Get him beside Laporte. You can't learn off a better centre half.
So
you are a formation for the next 5-6 years.
You are aware, aren't you? I need to break this to you all, just in case you don't know, that if Liverpool continued on their winning streak, we would have to give them the guard of honour when we play them.
Do you know what?
In April.
Do you know what? I'm not that bothered about that. As long as they don't win it against us.
Yeah.
That's bigger for me. If you have to give them the guard of honour, do you know what?
We would not let that happen. No. We would not let that happen.
I'd rather give them the guard of honour than let them win it against us, because that would be horrible.
But
I don't want to do either.
Yeah, Bernardo would run even further than he did against them last season.
Thing is, we know the pain of it, don't we? We were United a couple of years ago. Oh, jeez. We know all how much it hurts us. So yeah, I don't think we'd let it happen.
They got an easy win tonight, and they West Ham. So
yeah, it's just a matter of time before the title was given to them now, isn't it? It's we all knew they were going to win, but it's just a case of, do they continue? I just so hope we do beat them, because it doesn't look like any other team will. And we're going to hear it forever and ever and ever, even if they never get 100 points.
Just let them hear it. Next season will be completely different.
Well, hopefully.
They'll lose one of their front three next season. Madrid will have a 300 million spending spree. One of them will go.
For me, I'd say it would be Mane. I think Salah's had his best season last year and probably beginning of this year. I think Mane is the one that could probably topple the Ballon d'Or places. He has really, really come alive. And as much as I hate Liverpool as the fact of how deluded some of the fans are. But the players in their team are fantastic. It has to be said. But Mane is a class above all of them. I'd even say he's a much bigger class than Salah.
Yeah. Look, they lose.
He's a very good player. Yeah.
So we're looking at our run-ins now for the next couple of weeks. We've got the Villa game on. We got, it's a cup game, isn't it? Anything could happen with that. If we turn up, we should win. If I also went to the Wigan game that we lost against, and I've never been so angry. I have never been so angry in my life. And then we got Sheffield Wednesday, which is on BBC the week after. What day is that?
Yeah.
Wednesday, isn't it? We're away at Sheffield, which is great. And then we got United on the Sunday. So you got some two cup games and a league game. So we got some really, United away. God, you know what? I really want to win that.
We'll be all right. We always beat them there. It's at the Etihad where we have problems. We'll be fine.
This is true. This is very true. So should we talk a little bit about the game on Sunday, the Wembley game? Because I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to do another podcast before then. So what's everyone thinking about the League Cup game?
As you said, Tom, it's which City you're going to show up. Because if the right City show up, then the way Villa are playing at the moment, apparently there's some little bit of infighting. Dean Smith's been on record today saying he didn't have a verbal altercation with John Terry at the weekend. I think there's obviously some stuff going on because they're not playing well at the moment. Or it should be. It's our game to lose in my opinion. But I'll go. It's a cup game. I think Watford FA Cup final was a one-off of 6-0. I'll go 2-0 City.
We need to control Grealish, don't we? He's their engine. He's their catalyst. He's their talisman. Yep. I think if we can keep him under wraps as much as possible. Come on, Dan. I need to hear one of your score lines, Dan. Come on, give me some good news. What's the score going to be?
3-1 Villa. Penalties. 3-1 Villa.
Oh.
What is going on there?
I'm joking, obviously. I'm joking. Bloody hell.
I was about to say that was going to be a short podcast for me.
Don't do that.
No, I can see us demolishing Villa. Grealish isn't the problem for me. Reina is. Grealish, there's always been one way to stop Grealish, and that's to piss him off. Pardon my French. Once he's pissed off, he doesn't perform. He gets frustrated. He is a far better player than any outfield player Villa have got, but when he's really not with it, he takes it out on his players, and his players don't agree with it in that sort of form of thing. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember who they were playing, and he got rattled, and so were the rest of the players, and he was taking it out on them, and it just didn't form up right, and they were all over the place. But Reina is the one we need to beat. If with our conversion rate as it is, he is probably the only reason they're inching towards points and the odd win here and there, because he is still, for the age of 37, 38, what a keeper he still is. And to have him on loan is probably the only reason they'll end up staying up this season.
Yeah. What you're saying, Dan, is you don't want this game to go to penalties.
No, oh God, don't!
No, it will go to penalties. It will, both teams will score 4. Villa will miss their 5th, and Mahrez will take the 5th and bang it in the back of the net.
Wow.
It's all right. It's a cup game because we'll have Claudio Bravo missed a penalty in net anyway. So no matter what happens, we'll always win that.
Hey, I keep saying he's world class. He's Bravo. He's world class. I keep saying it. He'll win us another League Cup.
Absolutely not.
We've definitely got to have Bravo in that, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Unless it goes to penalties, you sub on Ederson.
No, I can't see that happening.
Well, I don't know, because Tom mentioned...
For taking a penalty, would you not put that taker on?
Thing is, Tom mentioned the Wigan one, Wigan finale. I can't get my words out tonight. Wigan final a few years ago. What keeper started that game in the final that didn't play any of the previous games?
Joe Hart.
And for me, the reason we lost that game was because of Joe Hart. If Pantilimon was in the goal that Watson scored that day, high up above, Pantilimon would have reached up and saved it. We'd gone to penalties. God knows what would have happened there, but as much as that was a completely different team and Guardiola was nowhere near City mentioned, it has to be Bravo starting. It is his competition.
He's so small, though. You can just put him in your pocket, can't you?
Well, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
It's death taxes and Claudio Bravo playing a cup game for City.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually, was it against Liverpool? He did well for us as well. He's had a couple of good finals as Bravo. I'm going to be right up for him. I'll support any player that plays for City on their day. And I tell you what, if he does the business again for us, then I'll write him a letter and thank him.
We'll dedicate a podcast to him. 1 hour podcast talking about Claudio Bravo.
Do you know what? I will do a 1 hour podcast to Claudio Bravo if he wins us the game on Sunday.
You've already got the name sorted out, haven't you? Bravo.
It's going to be me doing it.
Yes, it will be a solo podcast.
I think I'll be away then.
Bloody hell. Right, so are we done? Has everyone done the score predictions?
I won't give a score prediction. I'll disagree with Dave, and I think you can go one of two ways. It'll either go a Wigan final or a Watford final. That's what I see happening.
Okay. That could be a really happy or a really dreadful drive home for me on Sunday. Oh, that's the worst thing about going to Wembley. It's so far to lose.
Short tube journey for me, but...
Oh. Anyway. I think we're done, lads. Unless anyone else has got anything to add.
Yep. Nope.
Fantastic.
No, just come on, City.
Biggest game of the season, Wednesday. Biggest game of the season.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's have it. Come on, Blues. Good to talk to you again, lads. I'll speak to you soon.
All right.
All the best, boys. All the best.